Hi, I'm David. Did you know that every single word in the English language can fit into one of just 8 categories? That's right. All 170,000 words that English speakers currently use can be identified by one of the 8 parts of speech. We'll take a look at each of them in today's episode of You Should Learn This. Before we dive into each of the 8 parts of speech, we should probably ask, what is a part of speech anyway? A part of speech is a word identification tool that tells us how a word can be used, as well as how it functions in a sentence. Now, there are 8 parts of speech that you should learn. They are nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. We'll take a broad look at all of the parts of speech in this video, and we'll dive even more deeply into separate videos for each one. First up, the good old noun. A noun is a name for a person, place, thing, or idea. A noun could be a person like George Washington or Dad. A noun could be a place like the basement or Kentucky. Nouns can be concrete, touchable things like this basketball or a cat. Finally, nouns can also be more abstract ideas like happiness or belonging. Can you find the nouns in this sentence? My dad's old radio still works, even though it's ancient. Did you find them? There were 2. Dad is a person, so it's a noun. Radio is a thing, so it's also a noun. High five yourself if you got it right. Next up, let's talk about pronouns. A pronoun is a word that stands in place of a noun. It's not an extremely professional noun as I once thought years ago. Pronouns include words like I, me, my, she, he, it, and they. Pronouns are extremely handy little words when it comes to having a normal conversation. Imagine trying to describe your day without them. Without pronouns, I would have to say, this morning, David's alarm woke David up. David turned David's alarm off and walked into David's bathroom, where David reached for David's toothpaste and brushed David's teeth. That would be crazy, right? Pronouns allow us to replace repetitive nouns with shorter words that our readers or listeners understand. Instead of what I said before, I could say, this morning, my alarm woke me up. I turned it off and walked into my bathroom, where I reached for my toothpaste and brushed my teeth. Much better, huh? Pronouns are also extremely useful for showing ownership. I could say, that's his baseball, but that's my Game Boy. Pronouns are also handy for clarifying directions, as in, take this one, not that one. Let's see if we can put pronouns to use. Try to replace the repetitive noun in this sentence with a pronoun. Sally swam across Sally's pond. The sentence reads much more fluidly if we say, Sally swam across her pond. Our next part of speech is the verb. A verb is a word that expresses action or a state of being. Verbs include actions like swim, punch, sing, become, and twist. Verbs also include state of being words like is, was, were, and are. Verbs also help our readers understand a sentence's tense, or when it takes place. Will he bring you your nachos, or were your nachos already brought? Can you find the verb in this sentence? Marty skateboards every Saturday. That's right, it's skateboards. How about in this sentence? The early American flag was designed by Betsy Ross. Was and designed are both verbs. Was is a helping verb. Designed is an action verb. The awesome adjective is next on our flyby tour of the parts of speech. An adjective describes a noun or a pronoun. Words like smart, gorgeous, sour, and delightful are all adjectives. How was the movie? It was boring. Adjective. How was the class? It was boring. Adjective. How was the super slow, low-stakes slug race? It was exhilarating. Adjective. Quick, can you list 3 adjectives that describe the beach? Here are mine. breezy, sandy, relaxing. Moving right along, we'll now take a look at adverbs. But first, a confession, I had no idea what an adverb actually was until I became a teacher. As a student, I got through school by simply recognizing that most adverbs end with ly. But that's about all I could tell you at the time. It turns out, adverbs are like the duct tape of parts of speech. They can be used in so many ways that it sometimes gets confusing. So I'll spell it out. You might want to pause this video and write this one down. Adverbs modify or provide additional information about verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. They usually end with ly, but not always. Here's a short sentence: she slept. She is a pronoun and slept is a verb. I can modify the verb with an adverb by saying she slept peacefully. Peacefully is an adverb that provides information about how she slept. In a sense, the adverb adds details to the verb. But don't get too hung up on the name adverb. Adverbs don't just work on verbs. They can also modify adjectives. Would that make it an adjective? Take a look at this sentence. He was optimistic. He is a pronoun. Was is a verb. Optimistic is an adjective that modifies he. By the way, optimistic is a way to describe a person who always looks for the positive things in a situation. Now, if we throw in the adverb rarely, the whole meaning of this sentence changes. Oh no! He was rarely optimistic. Finally, an adverb can modify another adverb. Take a look at this sentence. She very remorsefully broke up with her boyfriend. She is a pronoun. Broke up is the verb. Remorsefully is an adverb that modifies the verb broke up, while very is an adverb that modifies the other adverb remorsefully. Often, if the part of speech in question answers how, why, or under what conditions, then you're probably dealing with an adverb. Remember, an adverb will never modify a noun. That's the job of an adjective, not an adverb. Just down the line are prepositions. Prepositions are words that show the relationships between other words in a sentence. They begin prepositional phrases and often describe where or when something happened. Under, above, on, before, during, and after are all prepositions. In this sentence, my toddler spilled milk under the table. Under is the preposition. Under the table is the prepositional phrase, and table is the object of the preposition. Nifty, right? Well, not if you're the one who has to wipe up the milk. The root of the word preposition is position. That might just help you remember that a preposition often identifies a position in time or space. A last note on prepositions. Contrary to popular advice from armchair grammarians, there is absolutely nothing wrong with ending a sentence with a preposition. Doing so has been acceptable since the birth of our language. There was a push to end the practice of saying things like, "Who are you going with?" or "What are you looking at?" in the 1800s. But the attempt was unsuccessful and ultimately dropped in the early 1900s. So go ahead, end your sentences with prepositions. Rounding out our list of parts of speech are conjunctions. Conjunctions are words that join other words, clauses, or phrases together. They include the fanboys. You know, the coordinating conjunctions. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And they include subordinating conjunctions that create dependent clauses like because, although, since, and nevertheless. Understanding the impact of a conjunction is crucial to understanding complex sentence structures, but that's a separate lesson. Speaking of videos, that's it for this one. I hope you... Shoot! There's one more. Interjections. Interjections are emotional words that often interrupt the sentence and serve no other purpose than dramatic effect. Interjections include darn, oh my, wow, oops, and several curse words that I won't say in this video. It's good to know that interjections are often followed by exclamation points. Okay, before we go, take a quick review of these definitions. Feel free to pause the video and write down some notes. Got 'em? Great! Let's test your knowledge with a sorting game. See if you can figure out the part of speech for each of the underlined words. My dog sniffed his butt in front of everyone at the party. If you said noun, you got it. Butt is a noun. Ew! Shouted Uncle Larry. Ew is an interjection. My mother was so embarrassed that she hid in her room for hours. In is a preposition. My dad thought it was hilarious. Hilarious is an adjective. My brother guffawed. Guffawed is a verb, and it means to laugh vigorously. Blushing, I quickly sought a place to hide. Quickly is an adverb. My dog didn't seem shy at all as he kept on sniffing and sniffing. And is a conjunction. It helps me to sleep at night if I remind myself that one day he will stop sniffing his butt. He is a pronoun. Well, how did you do? Did you score a perfect 8 out of 8? Keep in mind that some words can fit into multiple parts of speech depending on the way that they're used. For instance, punch could be a verb, as in, don't punch me, bro. Or a noun, as in, will you please fill me a cup of punch? Okay, now that's really it for this video. You can find notes from this episode, a free review worksheet, as well as more episodes like this one on youshouldlearnthis.com. Brush your teeth, and remember, you were made for greatness.